What's going on YouTube? Dan here again. You've probably seen that previously I did the 5 things that I hate about the Civic EG, so I thought it'd be rude not to do a 5 things that I love about the Civic EG, so I hope you enjoy it.
Before we get into what I like specifically, I thought I'd share why I chose a 24-year-old Civic as my car. It all goes back to my youth playing Gran Turismo, watching Fast and Furious and noticing how frequently the cars featured in the film, and then as I became older, I started watching Hot Version, Time Attack became a thing, and my dad had a brand new EP3 Civic Type R on the drive. I started looking at what did well on the tow gear, and Time Attack, and how easily those cars were to modify with parts availability, how cheap the base models were, and well, the Civic EG and EK came on trumps. They were getting the best results for things like Time Attack and tow gear, parts were literally everywhere, and they still are dominant in Time Attack events across the world, even in some open class events. I originally wanted an EK, and I found one, but didn't have the funds, and it sold quickly. I then believe I was playing Gran Turismo 4 one night after the EK sold, and it was just after my 19th birthday. I loaded the game and was gifted a car from my birth year. It was an EG6 SIR Civic, and then I bought one in real life. Okay, not an EG6 SIR, but a Civic EG nonetheless.
So you join me in the car on this horrible day. The sun's out now, but it was chucking it down earlier. It's windy as anything. I did try recording this outside the car, but there was absolutely no way that I could pick any sound up. The sound on the mic was just horrible, even though I've got the dead cat on there. No chance. So anyway, you join me in the car. I'm going to be going through the 5 things that I love about the Civic, and why I like this car so much, and why I built it the way that I built it. So the first thing has to be the engine swap. I absolutely love the engine swap in this car. Now, the H22 used to get put down quite a bit because it's a heavy lump, the car would be unbalanced, it would be too front heavy, too nose heavy. Well, I know now, thanks to the power of the internet, and now that I've had the engine fitted, that's certainly not the case. The K24 and the H22 are very similar in weight. So if you've got a track car with a K24 in it, without a turbo, that obviously adds a bit more weight, all the additional piping and whatnot, then this is very similarly weighted to a K24 swap car. But the VTEC crossover on the H22, I have to say from personal experience, I've been in a K24 Accord, a K20 Civic EP3, K20, what else have I been in that's had a K swap? I've been in a load of different cars, D16s, D15s, B18s. The H22 in my opinion has the best VTEC crossover. I think that's helped because of the dual plenums and the intake. It's got like a second set of runners on the intake manifold, and when VTEC engages they open up. It does obviously create more airflow on the intake. I think that it was made, probably for more low down torque, for better MPG at lower RPMs, that sort of thing. But when they open up and when VTEC engages, the VTEC crossover in this car is brilliant in comparison to like EP3s and things like that I've been in. So yeah, miles better VTEC crossover in this car. It might be to do with the vehicle's weight. The weight of this car is weighing in at 960, and that leads me on to the second thing that I like about this car. The weight, I got it down to 960, although it's got a full interior. I did rip all the interior out. I took like sound deadening out behind the dash, all the sound deadening that's like the cladding rubbery stuff that's like stuck to the metal chassis. I did scrape all that off, and I've taken a load of other things off as well. ABS, airbags, obviously the Momo steering wheel doesn't have an airbag. But yeah, so I've taken quite a bit of weight out of this car to get it down to 960, and that's made the car so nimble. So I do really like its lightweight, and that probably helps with the VTEC crossover and the overall power to weight ratio of this car. So yeah, definitely one of the things that I like. Helps the engine out a lot and just makes the car feel more lively. So that leads me on to number 3, which is how the car handles. Now, the handling of this car I've obviously changed everything from ground up on this car, from the tyres through to the steering wheel, and I mean literally everything. I've touched everything. Even the steering rack itself from a DC2, and that is polybushed, so the bushes that it does have, they're quite solid rubber anyway, but I've replaced them with even harder polyurethane ones, just because I got a full set to do everything in this car with poly bushes. So that's obviously really good. It's lightweight, really helps with the handling. It's so nimble, so truckable, you know, I can basically do what I want with this car. It's not in any way, you know, uncontrollable. The back end steps out, you put your foot back on the throttle, it pulls it back in line. Understeer is so easy to control as well, you know, just letting off the throttle, and you can balance it sometimes on corners, you know, between understeer and oversteer on the throttle, which is, in my opinion, is the perfect sort of setup that you want. It's more prone to understeer being a front wheel drive car and it having a square setup, but yeah, I do really like how it works on the edge in a corner, which is brilliant. Now that leads me on to point number 4, getting more into like the nitty gritty now. So the fourth thing that I like about this car is probably the wheels and tyres that are on the car. The tyres that are fitted are the AD08Rs. I've tried numerous different types of tyres. I've tried the RE002s, which aren't as track focused. I've tried the NS2Rs. I've tried the Kumho Extras, the KU36 ones, which were as good as the AD08Rs in the dry, but not so in the wet. The AD08Rs are just a brilliant all-rounder in my opinion. So, as a learner driver practicing some parking. But yeah, they are a brilliant all-rounder tyre in my opinion. That leads me on to point number 5. One of the most recent instalments on the car was a 3-inch straight-through exhaust, and it's made by Keltec Performance in Leeds. Now, the exhaust is a piece of art. It's ridiculously good, ridiculously well put together, and very, very well made. All stainless, TIG welds as well, and the welds are so seamless, like around the steel tubing. It's, you know, you can see like where he's gone in with the TIG weld on each sort of layer, if you like, and the welds are layered. I don't know how you'd describe it. If you've seen good welding, you know good welding, and it's good welding. You know, so brilliant exhaust. It's 3-inch straight through from the manifold back, and it released so much power on this car. Obviously it being naturally aspirated and it previously having a 2-inch exhaust, it released so much power in the car, you know, it was instantly noticeable. So I do think that the 2-inch exhaust that wouldn't have been on the Prelude or the Accord Type R that this engine's from, it's the H22A, the JDM one, so it is higher power like the Accord Type R one here in the UK. It wasn't made to run with a 2-inch exhaust, so when I've obviously upgraded to a 3-inch straight through, it's given it a lot more breathing capability in the exhaust, and it sounds awesome as well. It's a really good bit of kit. I will put a link to them below. I'm not sponsored, they're not paying me to say this. I paid for my exhaust like any other customer, but the quality of their work is second to none in my opinion. I've seen a few different exhaust specialists, you know, custom exhaust places in Leeds, Tony Banks, things like that, and although their exhausts are very popular, I don't think they're as good quality personally. He offers a brilliant warranty, don't get me wrong, but I much prefer Keltec, and if I was to get an exhaust put on my car again, I would go to Keltec. So that brings me to the end of the video. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. You know, I hope you found it informative. If you did like it, give us a thumbs up, hit the bell and subscribe, and then you'll be informed next time I upload a video. Thank you very much for watching. Bye for now.